The parade ground was silent in the way only military silence could be: thick, heavy, and unforgiving. The early morning sun hung low over the base, casting long shadows across the concrete as boots stood perfectly aligned along the yellow inspection lines. A cold wind moved through the open ground, tugging at uniforms, carrying with it the sharp scent of oil, dust, and discipline. Private Ava Cross stood in the third row, back straight, chin level, eyes forward. She didn't move, didn't blink, didn't shift her weight, not even when sweat trickled slowly down her spine beneath the stiff fabric of her fatigues. She had learned long ago that stillness was armor. Around her, the platoon waited. This was inspection day, and inspection day belonged to Sergeant Marcus Hale. Hale was a legend on the base, not the good kind. He was loud, brutal, and proud of it. A man who believed fear built soldiers better than respect. His boots struck the concrete as he walked down the line, each step deliberate, each pause calculated to make the recruits feel smaller. "Eyes front," he barked, though no one had moved. His voice cut through the air like a blade. Hale stopped in front of a recruit 2 positions down from Ava. He leaned in close, inspecting every detail: collar alignment, boot shine, sleeve crease. The recruit's jaw trembled. "You call this squared away?" "Halisnardet. My grandmother folds laundry better than this." He moved on, closer, closer. Ava felt his presence before he reached her, like a storm rolling in. Her heartbeat remained steady. It always did. Panic had burned out of her years ago. Hale stopped directly in front of her. He stared. Not at her uniform first, but at her. His eyes narrowed slightly, the way predators evaluate prey. Well, he said slowly. "What do we have here?" Ava didn't respond. She knew better. Hale circled her once, boots scraping loudly. He paused behind her, leaned in close enough that she could smell the coffee on his breath. "You look small," he said. "Weak." A few recruits swallowed hard. No one dared to move. Hale stepped back in her line of vision. "Private," he snapped. "Do you think you belong here?" Ava's voice was calm, controlled. "Yes, Sergeant." Hale's lip curled. That calm irritated him. "Yes, Sergeant," he mocked. "That's it? No fire? No fear?" He leaned forward, eyes hard. "Let me tell you something. The battlefield doesn't care about confidence. It chews up people like you and spits them out." Then, without warning, he slapped her. The sound cracked across the parade ground like a gunshot. Gasps rippled through the formation. A few recruits flinched despite themselves. Ava's head snapped slightly to the side, then returned forward. She didn't stagger. She didn't raise a hand. She didn't react. Her cheek burned, but her expression didn't change. Silence fell again, this time heavier. Hale straightened, clearly expecting tears, anger, something. Instead, Ava stood perfectly still. That made him angrier. "Did I give you permission to absorb that hit?" he roared. "No, Sergeant," she replied evenly. His eyes darkened. "I should wash." "You out right now," he said. "People like you break." Slowly, deliberately, Ava reached up. She didn't touch her face. She adjusted the front of her uniform, where a small ribbon bar sat, half hidden beneath inspection posture. Hale noticed the movement. "Hands down," he barked, then stopped mid-sentence. His eyes locked onto the metal glint beneath the cloth. "Remove your jacket," he ordered sharply. Ava complied. Yes, the fabric came away. The sunlight struck the metal pinned over her heart. Not a training ribbon. Not a participation award, not a combat valor. Metal, the kind rarely seen, especially not on a private. Hale froze. The color drained from his face. The parade ground felt suddenly very quiet. He stepped closer, eyes narrowing. Not in anger now, but disbelief. "That medal," he said slowly. "Where did you get it?" Ava's voice was steady. "From Kandahar, Sergeant." Murmurs stirred in the ranks. Hale swallowed. "You don't hand these out in boot camp," he muttered. "No, Sergeant." He stared at her again, but this time he wasn't seeing a weak recruit. He was seeing something else. "Dismissed jacket," he said stiffly. Ava obeyed. Hale stepped back, cleared his throat, and moved on without another word. But the damage was done. The platoon had seen it. And more importantly, so had he. That night, the base buzzed with whispers. Some said Ava Cross had been prior service. Others claimed she'd transferred from a classified unit. A few said she'd save an entire squad alone. Ava didn't correct anyone. She sat alone in the barracks, cleaning her boots with slow, methodical movements. Across the room, Private Jenna Morales watched her quietly. "You didn't even flinch," Jenna finally said. Ava didn't look up. "I've been hit harder." Jenna hesitated. "That medal, what really happened?" Ava paused for just a moment. Then she resumed polishing. "War," she said softly. "Happened." Elsewhere on base, Sergeant Hale sat in his office, staring at a personnel file open on his desk. Cross. AVA. His jaw clenched as he read. Then his hands went still, because the file wasn't emptied. IT was redacted, almost entirely, and stamped at the bottom in bold black ink. "Do not engage without command authorization." Hale leaned back slowly, unease creeping into his chest. For the first time in years, he wondered if he just slapped someone far above his understanding. Subscribe to the channel. Brave stripes for powerful military stories like this. Tell us in the comments. Where are you watching from? The next morning came colder. Fog rolled low across the base, wrapping the barracks and training grounds in a pale gray veil. Reveille sounded sharp and unforgiving, echoing off concrete walls. Recruits moved with practiced urgency, boots hitting the floor, lockers slamming shut, discipline replacing sleep in seconds. Ava Cross rose with the others in hesitation. "No groan. No complaint." Yes, she laced her boots. The faint bruise along her cheekbone caught the dim light. She didn't look at it. She never did. Pain, to her, was information, not emotion. Across the room, Jenna Morales watched her again. "Sergeant Hale's been asking questions," Jenna whispered. Ava nodded once. She already knew. Outside, the platoon assembled for morning drills. The fog thinned as the sun climbed, revealing Sergeant Hale standing with two officers Ava had never seen before. Their uniforms were different, cleaner, sharper. One wore the insignia of a major, the other a colonel. That alone tightened the air. Hale's posture was rigid. Gone was the swagger, the casual cruelty. His jaw was clenched so tight it twitched. "Platoon," he barked. "Stand at attention." They snapped into position. The colonel stepped forward, eyes scanning the line until they stopped on Ava. "Private Cross," he said calmly. "Step forward." Ava did. Each step echoed. The entire platoon felt it. Something was happening. Something bigger than routine punishment or praise. "Private," the colonel continued. "How long have you been in this unit?" "6 weeks, sir." "And before that?" Ava paused, just long enough to be noticeable. "Active deployment, sir." The major glanced at Hale. "Sergeant," he said, voice even but cold. "Did you review this recruit's file?" "Hale swallow it." "Parts of it, sir." "Parts," the major repeated. The colonel exhaled slowly. "Sergeant Hale, you were relieved of inspection duties. Effective immediately." A collective intake of breath rippled through the formation. Hale stiffened. "Sir, dismissed," the colonel said flatly. Hale turned, face burning, and marched away without another word. The colonel looked back at Ava. "Private Cross," he said, "do you consent to address the platoon?" Ava met his gaze. "Yes, sir." He stepped aside. She turned to face the recruits. For the first time since arriving, Ava relaxed her shoulders. Not out of weakness, but ownership. "You're all here because you think strength looks one way," she began. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried. Big muscles, loud voices, fear. She gestured lightly to her chest. "I earned this medal during a night extraction in Kandahar. Our convoy was hit. Command vehicle destroyed. Chain of command gone. Silence. We were surrounded. Outnumbered. I was the lowest rank present." Jenna's eyes widened. "I took command," Ava continued. "Held the perimeter for 47 minutes. Pulled 3 wounded soldiers out under fire. Neutralized the threat." She paused. "Strength isn't volume," she said. "It's staying upright when everything tells you to fall." The colonel nodded once. "Dismissed," he said. As the platoon broke formation, eyes followed Ava. not with doubt anymore, but respect. Later that day, Ava was summoned to headquarters. Inside a quiet office, she stood before the colonel again. He slid a folder across the desk. "You were never supposed to be here," he said. "No, sir. You requested reassignment." "Why?" Ava considered her answer. "Because leadership fails when it forgets humility," she said. "I wanted to see what kind of leaders were being built." The colonel studied her. "You endured abuse." "Yes, sir." "And said nothing." "Yes, sir." He nodded slowly. "We need instructors who understand restraint." He stood. "Captain Cross," he said. Ava's eyes lifted, just slightly. "You've been reinstated to your prior rank. Effective immediately." Outside, Sergeant Hale stood at attention, awaiting judgment. The colonel addressed him directly. "You struck a decorated officer under your command." Hale's voice shook. "Sir, I didn't know." "That," the colonel replied, "is the point." He turned to Ava. "Captain Cross," he said, "how would you like to proceed?" Ava looked at Hale. She saw fear. She remembered Kandahar. She chose something else. "Assign him remedial leadership training," she said calmly. "Everyone deserves the chance to learn." Hale's breath caught. "Yes, ma'am," he whispered. That evening, Ava walked the parade ground alone. The sun dipped low, painting the base in gold. Jenna approached cautiously. "They're saying you're a legend," she said. Ava smiled faintly. "Legends don't bleed." Jenna hesitated. "Why did you stay quiet when he hit you?" Ava looked toward the horizon. "Because real power," she said, "doesn't need to strike back." Subscribe to the channel Her Brave Stripes for more powerful military stories. Tell us in the comments. Where are you watching from? This is Her Brave Stripes.